Well, good evening and welcome to another edition of Capital Market Live on Channels Television. Well, it's the close of another trading week, and definitely a lot has played out so far this week that's shifted investor sentiment. But at the end of the day, some investors made money, and we did see some risk-off sentiment earlier this week. But let's kick off now with what played out in global markets that we track. Now, we see pan-European stocks, 600 ended Friday session in negative territory, sliding 0.41%, with most of the continent sectors and major bourses closing the day in the red. That's talking about European markets there. We see the FTSE 100. That was a low gainer for the Friday trade. The DAX was down 0.34%. We see the CAC 40 in France down 0.47%. That's for Friday's trade there. And definitely we did see sentiment actually shift throughout the week. That's this week. We did see the London markets there holding up. That's for the whole trading week, but for the Friday close wasn't so good. And we flip over to Asia now. We see Asia Pacific markets, they closed negative on Friday. The Japanese market showing a second day of decreases. The Hang Seng Index, HSI, was down 1.70%, while the Nikkei 225 Index fell 4.03%. We see the Shanghai Composite 3.05% lower. And if we move over now to the U.S. market, we see the stocks fell again on Friday, with Wall Street posting a weekly decline as traders weighed the latest moves in semiconductor names along with recent quarterly reports. The broad market index lost 1.01% to end at 7,457 points, while the Nasdaq Composite dropped 1.4% to 25,520 points as tech stocks they came under scrutiny. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 0.77%, closed at 52,146. Let's get a check on global commodities now, see how they perform. That's for the trading week there. We see for oil. Oil did shine this week, 14.38% higher for WTI. We did see Brent crude there, 14.75% higher. This was after falling below the $70 per barrel level. When we did see easing when it comes to tensions there between U.S. and Iran. But that's back again this week, propping up WTI and Brent. Let's get a check on metals now. Let's see how metals performed for the trading week. So we see gold down 2.49% for the week. Silver, a bigger 6.56% drop. Copper, 0.38%. We see platinum there also dipping. So yes, it was all red for the metals that we track so far for this trading week. Definitely when you see oil prices rising, it's mostly risk-off sentiment, and that also impacts the metals market. All right, let's bring it down here now. We see the NASD Securities Exchange closed the week higher as the index rose 0.61% to settle at 4,320 points. Market cap, that's at 2.59 trillion. Trading activity was also positive there. We see about 15.07% higher. That's for volume of trades. Value up about 393%. Deals up 10.71%. That's for the whole trading week. Now let's look at some of the movers this week. Double One PLC up 15.97% for the week. Also did see Geofluids PLC up marginally about 0.02%. For the week decliners, UBN Property Co. PLC, that dipped about 2.78%. The bigger drop there, Food Concepts PLC, $2.42, closing down 10.04%. Well, let's move on now. Let's see what played out for the listed market. Now, Nigeria's exchange, as the exchange limited there, closed the week negative, as the all-share index declined 0.14%. Equity cap there, 157 trillion. That's for the whole trading week. Activity was lower this week compared to the previous week, with volume at 2.81 billion traded, valued at 182.49 billion naira. Deals 226,000. Let's move on now. Let's see what played out with some of the sectors that we track. And banking making a comeback this week there, 9.30% gained for this week. While we have three laggards there: consumer goods, industrial goods, and oil and gas. Industrial goods, biggest drop, 6.26%. No thanks to Bois Cement. Insurance managed to eke up a gain there, about 0.25%. percent, not matching the gains we see with banking counter. That's for the week. Let's look at the gainers and losers for the week now when it comes to individual stocks. FirstHoldCo, that top there, 38.66% gain after kicking off the week at 69.20. Did hit a new high, 95.95 cover there. Thomas Wyatt comes in second place, 27.16% gain. And we see Bois Cement there. That's why we see the market down, 18.99% drop. That's for this trading week. We'll definitely dive into what drove sentiment in the market this week later on. But now let's get some top stories now. We see President Bola Tinubu signed a new executive order to strengthen the regulation of virtual assets and digital finance in Nigeria. The order creates a virtual asset council to be led by the Central Bank of Nigeria to coordinate oversight across financial securities and revenue agencies. It also introduces a unified framework for virtual asset registration, a regulatory sandbox for blockchain innovation, and a tax regime for the sector. The federal government says the measures are aimed at curbing fraud, money laundering, and cybercrime while encouraging responsible growth in Nigeria's digital economy. That did make headlines most of yesterday, and definitely we're going to be unpacking what that means for virtual assets in Nigeria. And so the story is now the major move to modernize the nation's trade system. The Standards Organization of Nigeria launched a digital standards platform. The initiative is designed to integrate SON's certification processes with the federal government's national single window. Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. John Eno, says the initiative aligns with the federal government's plan to improve trade. Take a listen.
This meeting, which brings together government officials, industry players and Nigerians from all walks of life, is one of many efforts aimed at improving trade in the country.
Of the digital standard platform.
Some key objectives of the initiative are to eliminate manual bottlenecks, fight certificate fraud, and ensure 24-hour cargo clearance at the ports.
The platform enables users to purchase selected and adopted international standards at up to 35% below the original cost. This strategic initiative is designed to encourage local purchases through the Standards Organization of Nigeria.
Some heads of government agencies take turns to applaud the latest innovation, pledging their commitment to making it work.
When our institutions work together, regulating standards, guiding procurement, and structuring partnership, the Nigerian investor and the Nigerian public experience government not as many separated gates, but as one coherent, credible partner.
Every naira we spend is a decision about the economy we want to build. And when that spending is guided by standard, it becomes a force for local industry.
The Minister of State for Trade delivers the keynote address. He says the digital migration will cut processing time, improve transparency, and position Nigeria to be more competitive in global trade.
For too long, the access to Nigerian standards, the access to conformity assessment service and compliance information, has always required time, travel, and paperwork. And our entrepreneurs, for example, those particularly micro and small and medium enterprises, find this difficult. So I believe that the digital standard platform dismantles all such barriers.
The digital platform is then launched
with the hope that it will serve the Nigerian consumer. It will serve
the platform will ensure that all products in Nigeria meet standards and that trade is faster, safer, and more transparent. Sarah Achimugu, Channels Television News.
All right, let's unpack the latest moves now, some of the headlines in the markets. And joining me for this, we have Mr. Mukhtar Mohammed, the founder of Finance with Mukhtar, joins me right here in the studio. Great to have you, sir.
Thank you, Ladi. My pleasure.
Another week, another dollar, or another naira, depending on
where you are,
what currency you're trading in. And definitely we've seen a lot play out this week. we did see that big headline. That was yesterday. President Tinubu signing the executive order there on crypto regulation. I don't know if you like Bitcoin or trading cryptocurrency. Definitely, we have a lot of investors there that still play in that market, at this point. So definitely needs regulation. But they want to align. They want the Central Bank of Nigeria, Securities and Exchange Commission, NFIU, all of them to harmonize, to regulate this market. How are you seeing that?
Is that what Bitcoin market is all about? Bitcoin market is all about allowing free...
And there's still the argument about Bitcoin, either being a security or not.
Yeah, exactly. The whole idea of Bitcoin is cloud trading that has no regulation, has no boundary. It's not supposed to be subject to the whole idea is not to be subject to the CBN or to the security and
decentralized.
Decentralized. That's it. So when you say you are trying to do crypto, you are trying to decentralize, so what you are trying to do, it's not the same of what the traders of crypto want. That's not what they want. You're not supposed to know the back end. You don't want this financial, especially the regulators to be involved in it. It's just, let's just trade our currency and let us do what we have to do. But again, globally now, people are beginning to say we have to regulate it because of the issues that are tied in the area of criminality, fraud, illicit funds, to fund things like terrorism and others. So I think basically that was why, if you look at what the Bayo Onanuga said, most of the reasons were also because this currency has become a source of frontier for fraudulent activities. So that's why you are seeing the NFIU are there also. You are seeing the EFCC, you are seeing the Central Bank, and also you are seeing the Security and Exchange Commission. So for me, I think we must not be left out in the crypto or in the digital currency space. The digital currency, we should all say that it's not just all about crypto. So that's one thing we need to know about it. So it's more than crypto. There are other aspects that are...
Yeah, especially when it comes to stable coins
and
all of that.
Cross-border trading and other transactions. Yeah. Though I salute the president for signing that into law. I think he had... but it's an executive order. So an executive order means that if President Tinubu is not here tomorrow, that order has become null and void. So we need to take it further, make it a law, take it to the National Assembly, so that it becomes a law, not just an executive order. I think that would be my advice to the president.
And definitely we've seen the crypto community, digital assets community, they've been clamoring, for this, for the longest time.
Yeah, but they were clamoring for it not this way. Not this way.
Maybe the ones in Nigeria. Yeah. They seem to have been, they've wanted this. They wanted alignment, when it comes to the Central Bank, Securities and Exchange Commission and all of them, because at some point, digital assets can be a store of value.
Yeah.
The next thing is used to make payments.
Yeah.
Next thing is used for investment.
So it's not the acceptability for it to be used for payment, and I think that's why the CBN is there to make sure that all ends are right.
All right, we'll definitely keep tracking this one. So much to unpack when it comes to virtual assets. But let's dovetail into the markets now. It's another trading week. I was expecting it to close positive this week, but somehow it didn't.
Boa dragged the index down, so, but we saw some positive, especially in the banking sector. I think that sector closed positive when you look at gains from FirstHoldCo, gain from Zenith Bank, gain from GTCO and others. So it is a positive for the financial stock
the banking counter there.
Yeah, that's it. 9.30.
Nice 9.30%.
That is the only sector in the insurance sector.
So is banking back?
Banking.
Is it back?
I think when you say whether it's back, I personally think that there are a lot of things for us to unpack, whether it's really back. Don't forget that HoldCo issue is still something that is ongoing. And this week, Renaissance Capital have come out to say that if you have to do that, you may be telling banks to go and get more fund, about 1.7 trillion.
Adding 1 point something trillion, or you're raising what you have?
No. You have to raise capital of 1.7 trillion, which
individual banks.
No, the totality of the banks that have the HoldCo.
Oh, right.
So they might have to raise that, and that also we dilute shareholder value, so and all that. So it's an ongoing conversation. Hopefully, I am part of the people that feel that the CBN should allow the bank breathe a little, and the HoldCo structure has come to stay, has made Nigerian bank global banks one of the most top-level bank in Africa. So when you are coming up with this policy, it's going to distort the system. It's going to distort a lot of the achievement that the banks have been able to achieve. So my own take is that even if you must do this, look for other better ways. Maybe you might permit them this time to use their shareholders' funds, which is running into trillions for most of these banks. So maybe if you come up with that and try to don't let go of the HoldCo structure, because the HoldCo structure is very important. It's the global best practice why banks become one-stop shop for investors.
Right.
So I think they should look at that.
Breathe. I know you've been.
Yeah, I know
the bank
should. They let the bank breathe. Let them breathe. Let them breathe.
Even though those banks,
even though
those banks keep winning.
Yes, you know, it's not about keep winning. They just took them to the market. They just raised capital.
Right.
And a lot of investors that invested in those banks invested because of the HoldCo structure. That also is not giving foreign investor confidence in your market. Remember, the same CBN told us that during the recapitalization, about 27% of those that contributed in there were foreign portfolio investors. You want to have them here to continue to stabilize our exchange rate, not trying to, yeah.
We'll definitely continue the conversation right after this break. We have so much to unpack right here on Capital Market. Keep it here. We'll be back in a moment.
We all see the world differently, but our time zones, politics, diplomacy, and sometimes conflict all converge in one place on The World Today. The World Today brings you those headlines from around the world with in-depth discussions that help you understand the world we live in. Don't be in the dark. Catch us weekdays at 5:30 p.m. only on Channels Television.
In every show, we bring you closer to the fastest growing movie industry in the world. From the making to the premiere. Get up close and personal with the stars and industry captains, plus reviews and much more. Nollywood Uncut, every week at these times.
Welcome back. We're still unpacking what played out in the market this week, and I still have with me Mr. Mukhtar Mohammed, the founder Finance with Mukhtar, and definitely he did say before we went on that break, we need to let the banks breathe.
They have to breathe.
Yes.
They raise capital.
Right.
Come on. When it looks like okay, the banks are settled, remember we still have some banks were unable to pay dividend because of their exposure, foreign subsidiary. They are trying to get that, you know, then you come out. I think the banks should.
And some of them trying to expand.
Some of them again have decided to have international license to expand. And once you want to expand, you expand to your HoldCo. And
I'm sure some bank customers will also say the banks should let them breathe too.
About what?
When it comes to all those charges.
I'm sure the banks are really. I think the CBN really worked on the charges compared to where we were before.
Cut them down, right?
They really cut them down, you know, for where we were before.
And all those card maintenance and all
that have gone. So.
All right, let's look at some of the headlines that's in the markets this week. Definitely, we did see FirstHoldCo hitting an all-time high of 87. That was Thursday, but I think it did close at 90.
I think 95, 94.
94, about 94. So bigger high, you know, there. Talk to me about that. What's happening there? Why is it's been 10% rises.
it took the market by storm, and it was largely responsible for what you saw, the 9.3 store in the banking sector. I for one, have been trying to wrap my head, but I think from what I gather, foreign investors are interested in the HoldCo. A lot of foreign investors were the one that have moved the price to this level, which if you look at the bank, if you look at what they've been able to do, if you look at clearing of the loans book, their loan book and other making provision. But what I'm saying is that a lot of these investors are buying into the expectation. They are buying in expectation of what they think it will. So they are buying into the future. If you ask me at this time, at 90-something naira, you look at his earning per share, you look at his PE ratio and everything, you say FirstHoldCo is a little bit very expensive. But again, if you are buying into the HoldCo itself, the expectation of the future, clearing of the book, clearing of their books, nutrition of those results that will come here. But if you are looking at it by and by what it is today, what is the price today, I think it's very expensive.
Right. At this point, do we go higher, or should we expect profit taking on FirstHoldCo?
Well, it all depends. But when you see that, what we keep saying, that foreign investors are here, it seems to hold on the price appreciation. So if really it's foreign investors that are driving the price to where it is,
this will be foreign investors that don't care about T+1.
No, they don't care about T+1. They are here for the whole long term. And if it's foreign investors that are here for the long term, and they are the ones that are really driving the price to this level, we could continue to see that before profit taking will step in.
All right.
But if it's largely driven by speculators, by Monday you need to start seeing profit taking.
Okay, we'll look out for that. Then we see Transcorp Power there. H1 pre-tax profit, that dips about 6.37%. That's the latest earnings we did, get.
I think the Transcorp Power did not do well. Yeah, I mean, even I think we are paying dividend, but you look at that dividend is even coming from low down in terms of cash. Cash is low and everything. So it's not a fantastic result. And if you look at the price and the dividend they are paying, they still have a long way to go, because what we are saying is that they are not really making profit from their core businesses. But a lot of investment have gone into that space. Hopefully, shareholders will begin to see dividend of those results. But as of today, what we saw of the result is not very impressive.
All right, and I don't know if investors care about this one, but we did see inflation ease in June.
No, Ladi, when you talk about inflation easing in June, they will ask you which of the inflation are you saying? Is it the rebase inflation or the reinflation?
I thought now we have a good benchmark now.
No, we've not seen it yet. Ladi, if you look at it, they'll tell you in 2025 we have an inflation of about 30-something% or thereabout. Then if you look at that year to year, you've seen the inflation is easing. But when you look at food inflation have not eased at all month to month, and that is the key. And when you look at the key drivers of those food inflation, crayfish, bitter leaf, maize, all these are household essentials. So definitely that's not good news for.
And it didn't really drive investor sentiment.
No.
But Boa Cement, 18.99% drop for the trading week.
Opportunity. I think it's a big opportunity for designing investors.
In June it was around 400.
Yeah, so it's a big opportunity for designing investors. I think if you look at this market, you look at this in terms of result and everything, it's a good stock. So I think every designing investor should be looking at getting more Boa Cement if you have not gotten it before. But I don't think this will last for long, because it's a very strong stock.
Is it kind of sell the news events?
I think again it's boiled down to the fact that I think at the point they were supposed to do their meeting towards the end of the month, and they may move it. Maybe that have created a little bit of apprehension on investors. And by and large, again, the cheaper it goes, the more the fundamentals are strong, and then that's where the earning per share and others seems to make it a little bit cheap, and then the PE ratio also makes it a little bit cheap. So I think what we are seeing here is investors trying to take profit from that all-time high, even if you are selling now. But the challenge with Boa has been in the area of liquidity in terms of float. So it's rapidly controlled by one person. And what it means is that that person decides what the price movement or the upward or the downward swing. So what we might be thinking of investors, we don't have it. Maybe we're having investors that are trying to buy in. Maybe people are getting some information that is not very clear or it's not positive. Or maybe the Rabbi himself, Alhaji Rabbi himself, is trying to buy more and or sell more of his shares so that he can use it for other investment. Maybe that's why we are seeing this down. But this is a surprise to the market.
Right, and we'll definitely see how that plays out into the new trading week next week. Before I let you go, what are you watching going into next week in the market?
There's a lot of watch in the market going into next week. MPC is coming.
Right.
Bull, cut, whatever.
Right.
We are waiting.
Might be a hold.
Laddie, when I talk about MPC, I always say they're very conservative.
Right.
So if you decide to do a cut, then people will tell you, why are you tightening? If you decide to do a hold, we are watching to see whether we can continue to maintain those equilibrium that we are having. And if you are not cutting, people will say, but inflation is going down. Why are you not cutting? So they are between the devil and the blue sea. But they will tell you apparently that it's an election year. Liquidity will be awash.
Right.
So definitely, I think the CBN will conservatively hold.
Okay. I got so much to look out for next week. Thank you so much. Always great unpacking this market with you, Mr. Mukhtar Mohammed. I see you finance with Mukhtar. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Laddie. My pleasure always.
All right, and that's the show for this weekend. Thanks so much for watching. Definitely a lot to look out for next week. But remember, the plan is to buy low and sell high. Thank you for watching. I'm Laddie Williams. Bye for now.